Hello, the Thriving Marriage family. Very, very excited and deeply grateful to have another opportunity to get in front of you live today and also to chat with many of you today on the Facebook page, on our group page, about this issue. It seems like every week there's kind of a theme, right? And the theme this week for me has been a lot of people struggling with forgiving themselves of their past mistakes, and especially today, how to forgive others that have hurt you deeply and hurt your heart. And I just want to commend you and honor you for being here and being willing to consider some of these things, because so many people live many, many years of their lives in bitterness, in regret, and they are unable to move past those things. So I just want to thank you and honor you, and I want you to acknowledge how important that is for you and what a real accomplishment that is to you, that you are willing to step up and say, you know what, I would really love to have more self-love for myself. I would love to be able to forgive myself and move past this regret that is crushing me. And I would really love to know how I can forgive others. So this might be a little bit of a longer one. I was planning on focusing mostly on forgiving yourself, but after getting the discussion going on the page today, I really felt, and you guys told me that you would really appreciate talking about forgiving others. So bear with me. And if you can't watch the whole thing, that's fine. The replay should be up on the page immediately after. So you can go ahead and, get the best out of it that you can whenever is convenient for you. But I see a couple of you on here live with me. So thanks for joining. Go ahead and, leave me a comment, leave a comment here on the chat. We can talk about it. We can see what your specific situations are going on. And as always, I love to know that, if this is resonating with you, go ahead and let me know. So I appreciate that. So first, we're going to talk about how to forgive yourself. And this is a very deeply personal one to me. It's actually what drove me to become a coach and an expert in this area. Was I held on to some severe, I guess you would call it, limitations in myself, and feeling like that others had hurt me. I felt damaged. And that was the story, that was the mode of my life, right? And so I carried a lot of pain really down deep inside of me. And so I want to talk about that. And then having moved past that, I was hungry and passionate, and this is what I do. This is how I help people, is to move past the pains caused by yourself and caused by others, so that you can be fully happy, fully present, fully alive, and live the life that you're meant to be. So right here, Tori said, how can you forgive your spouse when they cheat? Yes, we will definitely get to that, Tori. I'm going to first talk about how to forgive yourself, and then we will go on to how to forgive someone else. And there are a couple really important distinctions to make when we get to that point. So I want to deliver that in a very clear way that will serve you all the very best. So we will definitely talk about that, Tori. Thanks for reaching out. Okay, so the first thing is, if you are in a situation where you feel that you are carrying some deep regrets about some of the actions that you have had in the recent past or the very far distant past, okay? And you feel like you're able to maybe forgive others easier, but when it comes to yourself, how do you forgive yourself, right? How do you move past that deep, like gut level regret that is just eating you up and you can't seem to be able to get past it? I'm going to give you a couple different practices today, but I want you to understand this is just the tip of the iceberg, and each of these has to be applied in an individual way to you. So I'm going to give you kind of the blanket high level approach, and then we can work with you on like how to apply it to you specifically. I can't give each and every one of you, specifically what to do right here on the live stream, but I can do kind of the overarching principles. So the first thing is become clear on your morals and your values right now. Okay. Now, morals, that can kind of seem like a religious term, but what this means is what is really important to you. And the reason why we want to uncover this is because if you're feeling guilt or shame about something, then it means that that thing is actually really important to you. And that action from the past is not up to speed with who you feel like you should really be right now. So I'm just going to give an example. So if I had lied, let's say I lied to my spouse, and I feel morally that my value is that I need to be honest with my spouse, then that is really, really good information, okay? So by identifying your morals and your values, this gives you a really clear picture as to why they're still hurting you over what you've done and what others have done to you as well. So rejoice in that fact that you have clarity now on what is important to you and what your morals and your values really are. And then we'll talk about how to get up to speed with them again and how to kind of move, through that regret and that guilt from the past. All right, now the second point is, this sounds easier said than done, but realize that the past is the past, okay? When we really wrap our minds around the fact that we can't undo the past, right? None of us has a time machine. We can't just simply go back and undo everything that we've done, even though we may deeply, deeply wish that we could, right? That's what the guilt and the regret is all about. I so wish I could go back and change it. If I could do things all over again, I would totally do it completely different. But what we need to do is open up to more acceptance, okay? Because this is the reality. The reality is that we are where we are. And all of those experiences can actually propel us forward. They can be tools that we can use to learn from. And they can be, like stepping stones, so that as long as we don't keep repeating those things, they actually improve our lives. So that's a way that we can have a little bit more peace about where we're at right now, is understand I can't go back, I can't change it, but I can absolutely learn about it. Now, step number 3 is to create a redo, okay? And a redo is when you can go back into the past, like you can't physically go back, but you're gonna write down how you would have done things differently if you could go back and do it again. So this is a really good exercise. Just give yourself 10, 15 minutes, go back and say, if I could do this all over again, this is what I would do. And this affirms that we not only learned from our mistake, but if we had the skills now that we wished we had back then, we would have done things differently, okay? And realize that you did the best that you could at the time. That's step number 4. You were where you were at, and you did the best that you could at the time. You don't have the skills that you have now. You don't have the understanding that you have now. You haven't gone through the pain that you've gone through now. And so at the time, you did the best that you could, okay? Maybe, you feel like you were, in survival mode. Sometimes we look back and we forget all of these circumstances that led up to that action, and we don't look at it objectively as we should. So recognize that in that situation, you really did probably the best that you could. And now that you know something better, because that guilt is your teacher, now you know how you can move forward. I hope that makes sense. Can you see how that would serve you? If you do, go ahead and leave me a comment. I'd really like to know if this is coming across as clear as I hope it is, but let me know if you can see how that can serve you, that you can tell your past, thank you for being my teacher, okay? Now, number 5, start acting in accordance with your morals and your values now. Good, Tori, thanks. I'm glad, thank you. So now you know what your morals and your values really are. Now you can start to act in accordance with them, okay? You can say, wow, I really don't feel good about myself when I do that. When I'm just gonna, use some examples here, but when I totally lose my temper with the children, I feel really bad. And so I now know that my moral, the value there is that I need to teach my children, oh, thanks, Jessica, thanks, Sarah, that I need to treat them with respect and with compassion. And so that's my value. Now I'm going to start to act in accordance with that, okay? And this does take time, right? It took you time to develop these habits and these ways of responding to things or reacting to things. But with time and effort and guidance, usually, that's how you can overcome them, right? That's how you can start to really live what your true values are. So many times we kind of like put a pillow over our heads and we're just like, I don't know why my life is so bad. But if you look at it, you're like, wow, I'm not even living up to the person that I really want to be, the kind of person that makes me happy for me. Okay, we're not talking about anyone else's values. I could shove my values on you all day and you would just be like, oh, I don't want to be like that. Why are you judging me? That's not what it's about, okay? It's about you finding out what is important to you and what makes you feel peace and serenity inside of yourself. And so look back, again, like I said, going back to step 1, what did those experiences teach you about your values? And now, how can you live in accordance with them? And the more that you start to live in accordance with them, you're going to be affirming to yourself that you can handle these situations, that you can act in a way that is harmonious to you and that just feels right. And then you'll have more confidence. It will lead to greater self-esteem, and that will just have a snowball effect in your life. Now, number 6. Okay, so we all have a lot of regrets. If you are human, which I know you are, but if you're human on this earth, there are obviously things that we all regret. That's part of life. But I want you to identify what your biggest regrets are. Okay, not every little thing you've done ever since you were like 2 years old and you can possibly remember, right? But the biggest ones, the ones that are really, really had a big impact on you and on your life. And so what is really helpful about this is that then we can start to work on patterns of behavior rather than instead of just working on the individual regrets. So if you notice from your big regrets, there are some patterns there. And those are the things that we want to identify. So figure out what your biggest regrets are. And then step number 7, we're going to tackle those big ones. Okay. There may be some regrets that don't seem to improve. Okay. And they're going to require some extra work. Like I said yesterday, I love to study neuroscience, and there is amazing patterns that happen in your brain and how your neural net strengthens certain thought connections, right? The neural net is, without going too nerdy on you all, but the brain builds these patterns and it loves to take shortcuts, right? And so sometimes these things become really, we call it hardwired. It's not really hardwired. It's more like soft, nervy wired. But they become really, really strong, where that becomes almost your default reaction, your default thought, your default pattern. And so when you find that you're really kind of repeating some of those really negative, destructive cycles, then what we need to do is start to clear some of those. And that is some of the work that we do. I'm not going to go into depth on that. I just want you to know that that's something that you may need to do some deeper training on your mind, on your brain, on your mindset, and on your habits to kind of rewire things, to change things, so that then the positive ways of being become stronger than the negative ones. So if you've ever done any kind of clearing exercises or anything like this, then you know how powerful it really, really is, and that it is science, but that the impact on your life has a huge effect emotionally. So it's like taking out all the junk, right? All the faulty wiring, and then replacing it with the strong, forward-moving wiring that's going to really get your life moving forward. Okay, now step number 8 is to turn the page. Okay, now we've accepted that the past isn't the past. We can't go back and change it. And you've done everything in your power to amend those past mistakes by living by your values now. So now it's time to turn those page and accept those events as part of your story. Okay. Those things, they do not have to limit you. They do not have to define you forever. Okay. And it is those moments of challenge and of pain and of regret and of mistakes that actually move us forward and make us who we are. And they can actually make us so much better. So Adrienne says, that's what I can't seem to do. Let me know exactly which one you're talking about, because sometimes there's a lag between when I get the comments and what I just said. So let me know exactly what it is that you can't seem to do, and maybe I can go over it a little bit more. So let me know, Adrienne, in the chat, the comments there, so I can help you with that. Okay, so what I like to do is go here with me, and maybe this will answer Adrienne's. Okay, I can't seem to turn the page. Okay, letting the past be in the past. That is really good. And like I said, there might be some kind of that really hard wiring going on in there, that this has become a deeper level in your brain and in your life that you might need to do some clearing and some deeper work on. It's hard for me to say that just over here without understanding like your full situation. So, but I know that when those things really persist, that there has to be a little bit of deeper work going on. I mentioned at the beginning that I used to hold on to pain and regret and bury it really, really deep within. So deep within that it was actually creating a physical response in my body. There's actually chemicals released when you are in a state of bitterness and anger and resentment, that it has a physical effect upon your body, because your neural net goes throughout your entire body and your brain secretes all these different chemicals and your cells respond to those chemicals. Okay, and I'll just be really brief on this one, but I had a mentor, and she came, I was working with her after I was diagnosed with cancer. And she said, Heather, with all of this pain from your past, and I'm not going to go into all of that, but some very severe, deep hurts that were warranted for pain, right? It wasn't just me, oh, I don't like myself. Okay. Like, some real hurts caused by others. She said, where do you feel that in your body? And maybe I can ask you the same question. If you were to close your eyes, I feel that pain here. And wherever the first place is in your body that you feel it, then identify that, because your body has stored that somewhere. And for me, it was right here, right above my heart. My heart was hurt. It was broken. And guess where the cancer was? It was right here, right on my left breast, like literally right where I'm touching. Okay. A lump formed right there. So I know that that's not a coincidence. I hurt here, and that's where cancer developed. I'm not saying you're all going to get cancer. Please don't misunderstand me. But what I am saying is that our thoughts and our emotions are very, very powerful, and they absolutely do have an effect here. Okay, I'm going to go back here on these. Oh no, I'm missing some of the comments. Sorry, guys. Okay. Tori said, I can't get the negative things out of my head. It's like my ex-husband scared me for life. He was very abusive and made me lose our son at 16 weeks pregnant. Oh, that breaks my heart. I'm so sorry, Tori. So I feel like my current husband is a cheater and all of what he is. So Tori, are you saying that your current husband, you're afraid he's going to be like your ex-husband? Let me know if that's what you mean. Yes, heart, Adrian. Yeah. And so not everyone develops cancer. I just want that to be known. I'm not saying that you're going to all get this horrible illness or anything, but I am talking about the power that holding on to those regrets has. It's very, very destructive. And you know this, right? If you're going through this or something similar, then you know it. Okay, yes, that's what Tori said. So you have your ex-husband, and now you're afraid that your current husband is going to be like what your ex-husband was. Okay. All right. Yeah, Tori, we can get to that in a little bit. Absolutely. So now I want you to do an exercise with me. It's supposed to be a scar. Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll definitely talk about that. Okay, so this is how to kind of release some of that regret. Okay, release some of that pain from your life. And first, I want you just to check in with yourself. What is it that you're holding on to? What is that pain? You've identified maybe where it is in your body, if you did that with me. If not, then it's fine. But what are you holding on to? You can leave a comment, but I'm not expecting that. But I want you to answer internally. What is it that you're holding on to? I'm holding on to the pain that I hurt this person so deeply, and I never thought I would do that. That's an example. I'm holding on to the fact that I'm supposed to be this, this kind of person, and I just didn't measure up. I just didn't do it. It hurts me that I did that to people. What is it that you're holding on to? How long have you been holding on to it? Is it more recent, or has it been many, months or many years? Okay. Yeah. And then I want you to ask, this is the big one, is it serving you now? Is it serving you now? Now, your instinct might be to say, no, it's not serving me. But I'm actually going to say something against the grain here. And I'm going to say that, yes, it actually is serving you in a way. It might not be like the most productive way, but right now, that guilt, that pain, that fear is serving you. It is actually serving a purpose for you. And what it is probably doing is it's offering you a layer of protection. Okay. Or it's offering you a warning voice. It's saying, when you did this, this hurt not only that person, but it hurt me. Right? Like as if you're talking in the third person. And so it is actually serving you. So in what way might it be serving you? So for me, it was that if I held on to this pain, then I felt, for one, I was protecting other people from it. I won't go into the specifics there, but I was protecting some other people. If I held on all the pain myself, then I would protect other people from it. Now, when it came to myself, it was definitely that, this was a big warning that you do not ever want to do this again. And so what you can do is you can thank it for being your teacher. You can say, okay, I have this, and it is, it is inside me, and it is painful, and it is raw, and it is not a good, fun situation at all. But I want to thank it for being my teacher. And then when you do that, say, I lovingly release it now. I lovingly let it go. Thank you for being my teacher. Thank you for serving me. Thank you for teaching me at a gut level what nothing else ever could have, because nothing else is going to get that deep right within inside of us. So you say, I thank you for being my teacher, and I'm ready to let you go. I have learned what I need to know, and I thank you and I bless you. Okay, so many times we feel like, as I'm not sure if this is our culture, what happened, wherever we picked up on this, but that we shouldn't feel negative emotion, right? We try to bury that down. We don't want to feel that. We try to suppress it, or we overreact, right? We lash out about it. But either way, we try to feel like, no, I shouldn't feel that. But what the law of attraction, and I don't want to get too deep into that, but what the modern and ancient throughout history has shown us is that what you resist persists. That's one of those adages that's been really, really common lately, but it's absolutely true. If you're trying to resist feeling it, if you're trying to resist letting it in, if you're trying to suppress it, you're actually making it persist more at a deeper and darker level until eventually something is going to explode, or you're going to get a disease and you might end up dead. I'm only saying that because that's what my reality, like that's the path that I was heading on if I didn't course correct. So what I had to do to fight for my own life was literally learn how to like let that go, because dying at 29 with a baby inside of me was not an option. Okay. And it shouldn't be an option for any of us to live in those kind of years of pain and regret and suffering. There is a penalty for that, and you deserve better. Right? In the core of your being, in your heart, you know that you deserve better. And that, yes, this situation and what you've done, it had a purpose. It's brought you to where you are right now, but now it's okay to let it go. It really, really is. And you can do different exercises like this regularly. It's not just going to happen in a one-time event. But as you continue to work on this, then slowly you will be able to let it go. You absolutely will. But it's really what you do about it, right? And how accountable you're going to keep yourself to it. It's so easy to get distracted and busy. So now going back to the exercise. So is it serving me? Yeah, it is serving you at some purpose. And now, thank you. Thank you for being my teacher. I'm willing to let you go now. And then lastly, you say, what would I rather have instead? So instead of this major guilt and this crushing, regret, I would rather have peace, right? What is it that you would rather have? Yeah, Vicki, if you need to go, you can watch this later. It should post to the page. 2 days ago, it didn't for some reason, but it usually does. So just let you know, you can come back and watch it. I know it's a longer one, but I feel like this is really needed right now. So what would you rather have instead? I would rather have that peace. I'd rather feel love for myself again. I would rather feel whole. I'd rather feel calm, serenity, bliss, joy, just that quietness inside, right? Instead of things being so tumbled up and tight and hot and angry and all those things, but just to be calm, like calm waters inside, whatever that is for you. So what would you rather have? And now that you've identified what you would rather have, you have a choice. You can continue going down that stream and continue to let the guilt and everything come back in, or you have a choice. Which one is going to serve you more now? Now that you've learned from it, are you ready to let it go? If you are ready to let it go, then allow what you want to come in and fill that place. Okay? Now, this is some of the work that I do. And like I said, this is the tip of the iceberg. It's hard for me to guide everyone with your different specific situations through all of this. So if you feel like you're really struggling with this, or you want to know more or understand more, then let me know, because I would love to be able to work with you on that. However, I feel like I wanted you guys to get a deep, like core level understanding of the possibility here, and the possibility for yourself that you do not have to stay stuck there. You really, you don't. And that you are worth it, right? That is the greatest form of self-love and of love at all, is forgiving yourself and forgiving others. It is freeing, it is beautiful, and it is powerful. So that is my intention for you. Now, the last step here with self-forgiveness is move toward that self-love. Okay. Now, what we want to do is think about how you would talk to a child or to your best friend. Think about how you would talk to someone that you love and care for deeply. And I want you to talk to yourself like you would talk to them. If they came to you and they said, I am so torn up. I just did this awful thing and I don't know what to do and I don't know how anyone's going to forgive me. I can't forgive myself. I can't get past this. What would you say to that friend? What would you say to that person that you cared for so deeply, like unconditional? You just love this person. Okay. You would say, you know, this is just a moment and you can recover from this. You know, you would talk to yourself with that gentleness and that kindness and that compassion. So talk to yourself that way, like you would to them. And then, like I said, again, engage in coaching if you need some outside perspective in this area. Okay, there is definitely help out there. It's not something that we're really taught. If you were taught this, then you are amazing. But most people do not, they're not taught this. It's not taught in schools, it's not taught in education, it's not a popular culture. And some religions touch on it, but not, sometimes they don't go as deep enough into it as needed, or it's misunderstood. There's all these different reasons why, but the truth is that you are worth it. And so if this, you know, just know that you are more than your past mistakes. You are. And that the past, it truly doesn't have to define you. And I promise you, it is so, so, so worth it. So I'm going to take a deep breath. That was my segment on self-love. And we've already gone like 20-ish minutes, 25 minutes. So forgive me, I'm going to give myself a second and then we're going to jump right into forgiving others. And if you have any comments or anything, I'll kind of look through the chat here and let me know anything that's going on. Yeah. Okay. Adrian, yeah, you said anger for 2 years and you feel like it's protecting you. That is beautiful awareness, Adrian. Good job. That is really, really good. If you know, I'm using this anger and it's a shield for me, it's protecting me, and I'm kind of afraid to let it go, because if I let it go, then what will protect me, right? And so that's why so many of us continue in these ways that aren't really serving us ideally, but they are serving us at some level. So what we need to do is learn how to still protect yourself and move like beyond the anger to what you really want, which might be love, it might be compassion, it might be forgiveness, okay? But that you still know that you are protected and you are safe. That is the goal for every single one of us. Jessica. Oh, you needed this. Thank you. Okay. Yep. Go ahead and get your kids. I have to do that in a little while too. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks. I'm glad I could help. All right. Now we're going to jump into forgiving others. I was probably going to make this a whole different segment, but after, you know, the engagement on that post today, I felt like let's just jump right in. Okay. So forgiving others. Much of it is going to be similar, but it's also going to be radically different. And before we get into that, I need to remember to include this part. There are different levels where this will work. And there are some circumstances where you are not ready to be at this stage yet. Okay, so let me explain what I mean by that. Let's say that someone is hurting you currently hurting you. And we will compare this to stabbing a knife in your arm. Okay, that's the emotional hurt that is going on. If they are currently, oh, thank you, Adrian, thank you. If they're currently hurting you and the knife is still in your arm, if they're continuing to do damage, you can say all you want, I forgive you, but the pain is still very much there. It's very much present. And this is not the time where you can apply the rest of what I'm going to say, if that makes sense. Forgiveness that I'm talking about is only, okay, it can only happen, and same with trust issues. I was just speaking with a beautiful soul about this, but that the hurts and actual like emotional trauma was still occurring, right? The lies, the cheating, it was still like a present thing. So it's like that knife is still stuck there and they're not taking it out. Okay, if that is the case, then you cannot have trust, right? Because it's like being broken right in that moment. And so how could you rebuild it? You can't do that. Then that person has to remove the knife, or you have to step away so that they can no longer hurt you in order for you to fully trust again or forgive. So I hope that that is really, really clear. So if you are in a situation right now where someone is in the present moment hurting you, or causing you to distrust because of their dishonesty, disloyalty, then we need to address that in a very, very different way. So please know that before I go into the discussion of what we're talking about next. What I'm talking about next is if the person has removed the knife, okay? I know it's a little gruesome, but just stay with me. You can tell I have a lot of boys in my house. But yeah, if they've removed the knife and it's an older situation, okay, something that happened in the past, then what we need to do is work from there, okay, on how to have forgiveness. And there's all different kinds of situations here. So again, this is a really high level approach. There are times when you have to forgive, even if the other person is not changing, okay? Even if they are really desperately wanting to change, but you have a hard time letting go. That is what I'm going to be talking about the most. So just know that, we all have different situations, and this is more for that kind of situation. I hope that makes sense. So the hurt is not a present thing. It's more of a past thing. They are wanting to change, and now it's your job to learn how to forgive and kind of move on. That is what I'm addressing here. So if that makes sense, let me know. With that being said, now we're going to go back to the idea of not resisting it anymore, okay? If it is an older wound, right? Something that happened in the past, but you're still feeling insecure about it. You've been hurt deeply, and now you don't know what to go on. Okay, good, Adrian. I'm glad it makes sense. We're going to actually allow it to be there, okay? I want you to actually embrace the distrust, the discomfort, and the pain a little bit, because what happens is when we try to stop it, then we're damming, literally like a dam, like damming everything up inside of us. So what we want to do is we want to be more like water, and we want to allow the emotion to just flow, okay? And when we allow that emotion to flow, it can be a little bit scary or uncomfortable, so know that you're not going to stay there. It's just simply a way of clearing it out so that you can move past it. So when all of the yelling and the screaming, the kicking, the threatening words, all of those have been expressed, then the time for calm has arrived. I have a really great exercise that I like to do personally for dealing with any kind of negative emotion. And again, this might just be one of those kind of surface things. You might need to go a lot deeper if it's a lot deeper than this. So know that this is just one technique. It's just a very minor one. But I feel like it would serve at this level. But for the deeper hurts, the ones that are really, really going on, then you're going to need to get more help for that. But the exercise is what I call Slay the Dragon. And what you do is you get out a sheet of paper, and my toddlers drew on this, so I don't know if you can see it. Beautiful little line there. But yeah, what you do is you just write down everything that you're feeling. I feel so mad, upset. I feel insert whatever emotion. I feel betrayed. I feel hurt. I feel devastated. I feel crushed because I feel distrustful. I feel like I cannot trust that person again. It makes me feel, so whatever the feeling is, whatever the emotion is, because, and then you just start writing down all the reasons because. And then what you do is you just keep writing until you feel like everything is out. You don't worry about spelling. You don't worry about grammar. You just write and write. You can scribble. I've had torn the paper because I'm scribbling so hard on it. But you just kind of get everything out. You emotionally purge yourself onto the page. And then when you feel like everything is out, then you take a look at that. You don't look at it, but you take that paper and you rip it up, crumple it up, destroy it, light a match to it in your driveway somewhere safe and let the thing burn and say, okay, I've let you have your say, and now I'm done with you. I'm going to move on. And that is a very freeing way of dealing with negative emotion instead of allowing it to all just dam up inside of you. Okay, now here is a beautiful thought that I have for you. Remember that no storm lasts forever, and that hidden within are always seeds of tranquility. So remember that no storm lasts forever, and that after every storm, there is calm, there is peace, there is tranquility. And again, you're going to allow this experience to be your teacher, and you're going to actually thank it and honor it for being your teacher. It is the opportunity that will actually move you forward and allow you to grow as a person, if you let it. So you can say, what can I learn from this? I can learn that, whatever it is, insert that blank for yourself. I can learn from this experience that, whatever it, you will find an answer when you give it that space. And so then thank it for being your teacher. Say, thank you. Thank you for teaching me. I'm ready to let this go now. Okay. Now the third thing here, so those are the first two, was allow it to be your teacher. The first one was don't resist it. Okay. Allow it to be. And then know that when the storm is done, there will be calm. The second is allow it to be your teacher. Okay. The third is be kind instead of right. This is a really challenging one for most people. Some of us would rather die than be wrong, right? We're going to take our rightness with us. But there is a Chinese proverb. If you're going to pursue revenge, you'd better dig 2 graves. So if you're going for revenge, you better dig 2 graves. And what that means to me is that your resentments, they will destroy you. Okay? So forgiveness is me giving up my right to hurt you because you hurt me. Okay? It's choosing to be kind. What will make you feel better inside? I just want you to answer this really honestly. I know that you may be really hurt. I know that your trust may be absolutely shattered. But is it going to feel better to you to be kind or to get even? To be kind or to punish this person forever, right? I just want you to answer that. And I feel like most of us, we will know what the truth is. That doesn't mean that it's easy, but it will feel better. And we're here to be happy, to feel better. Okay. Now again, number 4, switch the focus from blaming others to understanding yourself. And it's so easy to look at everything that everyone did to you, right? They stabbed that knife in your arm and that hurts. That really hurts you. You trusted them and they hurt you. Okay, I understand that. But what can you understand about yourself in the situation? And also know that you have probably stabbed them with some knives as well. They might not have been the same kind or the same intensity, but that you probably stabbed them with some knives. And so what can you do to take ownership of your part in it? And how can you move it productively forward? And when you start to shift the focus to yourself, then it changes everything. Adrienne says, I feel like I want to punish him, but I know that's wrong. And that's the one thing I'm trying to let go of. Right. Yeah. That's again, that layer of protection that you feel like if you can hurt them and make them feel the way that they made you feel, then maybe they will understand and maybe they'll stop it. Okay. I know that. I've worked with many people that were in that kind of modality. Getting angry feels better than being hurt. It's taking some of your power back. And that's actually a good thing. I don't want you to stay in anger, but you're saying, I'm taking some of my power back. This was not right. And you need to treat me better, right? That's a step away from you totally crushed me. I am totally broken, right? So it's a step towards taking your power. Now we want to take your power back in more and more positive and empowering ways that are going to serve you better for the rest of your life. That is our goal. Okay. Now, lastly is to send love. Okay. We can send love to anyone that we choose to. Do you believe it is within your power to do that? Can you see how that would serve you? I know you can. And that is great. That is beautiful. Even someone that has hurt you so badly, you can still love them. It doesn't mean you have to approve what they're doing. It doesn't mean that you're going to allow them to continue to hurt you. You're not going to allow them to put knives in you again and again and again, because that would not be loving yourself. But you can love them and you can forgive them and release all of the bitterness, because you know that it is a gift. Forgiveness is a gift that you give yourself. That person might not deserve it. That person might not be changing, but you deserve it, because that bitterness and that anger is going to eat you up, and you deserve to let it go. So send love to them. There's a beautiful quote from Wayne Dyer. He says, I urge you to send love in place of those judgments and criticisms to others when you feel they impede your joy and happiness, and hold them in that place of love. Notice that if you stay steadfast, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So my challenge for you today, with it being a day of all about forgiveness, would be send love to yourself and then send love to them, and see what a difference it makes for you today. So I have got to run here, but I'm grateful for you guys and I appreciate you. And like I said, if you are struggling with this, I know how hard and deep those hurts can be, and have experienced many myself, and am now on the other side, and now I've helped many people work through these things as well. It is absolutely possible. And sometimes when we're in that dark abyss, it can feel like, that hope or that light is so far out of reach, and just elusive in the future, and maybe other people can have it, but you don't see it for yourself. I want you to hold on to even just that little tiny glimmer of light and that little tiny glimmer of hope. And the more you hold on to it and you stay steadfast in it, the brighter and stronger it will get in your life, and it will help you to heal and to be able to heal others as well. And that is the whole goal of what we're doing. Okay, Diane Rink, he constantly hurts me and I'm trying to work it out, but he says it's all in my head. I forgive, but it happens over and over, always looking at other women giving me nothing. Okay, I'm sorry you're struggling with this, Diane, and you're not alone. Like, there's many in this group and in the world that are dealing with similar things. And so when he's continually hurting, this isn't the place to move to all of that. You must stop the pain. You must stop the hurts. Bottom line, like, I'm going back to the beginning. Everything that I just said about this part, if you're just joining in at the end of it, this is only for if they have taken out the knife, not if they're continuing to hurt you. And if he's saying it's all in your head, then you have to uncover what the real root is going on here. We have to figure out why he thinks that, and what the reality really is, what the situation really is. And so with love and compassion, I suggest that any of you out there, like Diane or any of you else, Adrienne, and anyone else that's on here, if you're struggling with this, go ahead and message me. I'd love to talk with you more about it, and let's get a game plan on how you can move from where you are to where you really want to be, to how you can learn to forgive yourself for any of the mistakes, the pains that you've caused, and then how you can go ahead and move to building trust again, and having that forgiveness, having that beautiful freedom and that light back in your life. So I appreciate you guys, and I hope that this has been of service to you. Go ahead and reach out to me or to my partner, Mark, and we look forward to serving you and helping you move past these things and moving through these things. So awesome, guys. Thanks so much for joining me today, and we will see you next time. I think tomorrow is our day 4, so I look forward to chatting with you guys about that tomorrow. All right. Thanks, you guys. Take care.